Hey y'all, welcome back for another Insecure HBO review. We are at the season finale. I am Bri Stories of Away with Words, the podcast, and buckle the fuck up. Find some time. Find some time to do something. Find some time. Right in the beginning, we get a glimpse of exactly what we knew was coming. They've gentrified her neighborhood of Inglewood, even her complex, and of course the bordering places as well, where she's starting to see things that just weren't there before. A fucking cold brew shop, sis. You know that got white people written all over it. They give us what is like a split between person to person. So we're starting off with Lawrence, and they're giving us 30 days. And I'm assuming this is 30 days from the blow up, you know, when him and Issa got into it at Tiffany's man's party. So here's Lawrence still being Lawrence, not understanding that he needs to give himself a moment. He's doing the marathon thing with work sis and the rest of the people that he works with, and just getting really cool and cozy with her. But in the meantime, he also can't really get away from Issa and Molly. Sees them at the marathon and also sees Molly a little bit later. So we kind of get a glimpse of how that's affecting him. He's obviously not liking it and is feeling uncomfortable. He and Worksis are dating pretty heavily at this point, going out at his house, cooking dinner, all the little cute shit. In addition to this, she's encouraging him to get back on his, project horse and work on another project, but instead, not his own, just to get in on a project that's already happening. But come to find out, the person who's running that project is a dude that she used to fuck. That doesn't really make Lawrence happy. He's already scarred and scorned from a bitch lying to him and cheating on him, and he's just not in a good place to deal with no bitch dealing with another nigga, especially not at work. Lawrence is so fucking pressed. He's pressed. He already expressed his pressedness in the beginning when he was talking to work sis about the fact that she used to fuck around with old dude, and of course they still are cordial because they work together and they have to talk. But in addition to that, she is just a little like flirty, laughing all the time, and that makes Lawrence really uncomfortable. They're in the car one night and he lets it on out. Lets her know, like, yeah, I do have some fucking trust issues and I don't like lying ass bitches. And she doesn't like that shit at all. And coincidentally, his phone rings and it's Issa. So Worksis was like, well, there go all of your baggage right there and I'm gonna let you have it. So she got on up out the car, which deuces, girl, we didn't really need you here. I need Lawrence to be by his fucking self. To be honest. Of course, when Issa calls, he doesn't pick up the phone because he's, having his back and forth with Worksis before she gets out of the car. But then all of a sudden, he's at the dunes. And of course, everybody's jaw and hearts and stomach drops because what are you doing and what are y'all about to do to us? You know that we're all very fragile about this relationship. Why is he at the dunes? But of course, they leave us hanging for a little bit, but not for long. Switching over to Molly's 30 days, we see Molly and Issa at the marathon, kind of at the same starting point that we saw Lawrence at. And Molly and Issa are having a conversation about Quentin because Molly is actually talking to him more, and he's been a really good friend to her throughout her process of just trying to level up in this workplace. And, Issa is obviously clowning him just a little bit because he's nice and he's fun and he's funny and obviously super accomplished, but he really isn't Molly's type, and we all know what that means. I think Lil Rel is real cute, but coming from Dro to this, we get it. On the other hand, and on a brighter hand, Molly is out here taking interviews. She's talking to people at a black firm, might I add, and people are actually talking to her about her potential and how much she really is worth. So, of course, she's just gathering up all of these interviews, so she tells Quentin, so that she can go back to her firm and let them know that people are checking for me, so either you step up or I can be gone. While on her date with Quentin, though, it is a little bit awkward because Quentin is obviously interested, but Molly finds herself kind of blocking him and blocking herself too. She makes it a little weird at the end and calls him homie and is trying to just go out of her way to make it clear that she's really not on that. My favorite thing about Molly's portion, she's back with her therapist. Thank God. How many of us were like, sis, you need the therapist, don't let your guard down, honey. So I was really glad to see her back in that chair. She's talking to her therapist, and her therapist is reminding her again about shoulds and coulds and all of that lingo. And of course, she gets a text from Dro, and it says, I miss you. And we don't really see what she's thinking or whether or not she responded back, but she wasn't hesitating on getting her next appointment. So it's very nice to see that she's being serious about her therapy sessions. Perhaps later on that night, Molly texts her therapist's advice about getting out of the should and getting into the could. And she shoulda, woulda, coulda got right on Quentin's dick after a little bit of Hennessy while they were working late. And she looked like she was enjoying it. I thought that this was promising. I mean, of course, he may be a little shorter than we'd like. Maybe he doesn't, have the shape of the kind of guy that we're usually into. But he's nice and he's funny. He makes good money. And that rhymes, bars. And it looks like his dick is good. So, girl, what could possibly go wrong? I was really looking forward to this blossoming. But, I mean, we'll see how this week gets cut. After her rendezvous with Quentin, she goes back to her girls and she recaps how that was, and she doesn't seem like she's trying to flex on him at all. She lets them know he wasn't that bad as far as the sex, and he's just a good guy, and I'm genuinely just happy to be laughing again. And anybody that can make me laugh is good in my book, and I agree. In addition to that conversation, the ladies and her have a conversation that is all too real. And it's just about the differences between working with white people and working with black people in the corporate space. And unfortunately, it's something that we all have to deal with. That was a real conversation. And if you haven't watched the actual episode and you're just watching me, I suggest you go back to it and hear that piece. Here we go, though. Everybody is wondering, how did all these interviews go? Where did this land Molly? Her bosses tried it. I mean, honestly, I was offended. I think they tried us all. They tried me, they tried you, and your mama. While she came back and let them know, in fact, they let her know that they are well aware because the, firm agencies and all of the people in law these days are all so close and in cahoots. There's no possible way that you can interview with other firms without us finding out. But we want you to know we see you, we hear you, and we don't want to lose you. But we still don't have coins for you, girl. But here go a little certificate or whatever. An award? A Rising Star Award? What is this, 8th grade talent show? Y'all better go on somewhere, nigga. Please. Please. Now for the portion that we've all been waiting for. What is going on with Issa? We left off with Issa just in fucking turmoil. She got into it with Lawrence at the event, at the function for Derek's little birthday. She got home and she got the rent increase. She tore all her shit up. And the next thing we know, she just outside having a little meal and sees all this shit happening and popping up. And we all know what's going on in her neighborhood. How is my sis doing, right? So we get to check in with Issa. Same starting point. They're at the marathon. Come to find out they're at the marathon to see Kelly, which go Kelly. Because even though she didn't finish the whole marathon, she ran 9 miles, which, bitch, I couldn't do on my best day. And she was still working at Ivy Park, and I was very proud. Within that whole portion, Tiffany and Derek come, and they're just talking about everybody's little triumphs, and Tiffany's pregnant with a wee baby, and Molly is out here taking names and taking interviews, and Kelly is out here running, and Issa is... Wait. Oh, you moving? Great. Issa's moving. I mean, but not by choice or anything. She kind of gotta move, but we gonna celebrate that too, girl, because you doing your thing. Just trying to stay pleasant about it the whole time. Even though Issa learned her lesson and stepped up to Mr. Gaines about the whole, keeping Latinos out of We Got Y'all, it still turned out that she ended up having to tell her boss about the situation anyway, and her boss is certainly not pleased. This is serious. This could end us in a lawsuit, and we're not sure if we should even have you on the field. So now Issa is skating on thin ice at work, and that's just the last thing that she needs. Also at We Got Y'all, Frida gets a much-deserved promotion, and Issa is genuinely happy and proud of her, and I'm just very happy to see that they're back to normal, and everybody else in there is being, like, the biggest haters I've ever seen in my life. Like, damn near choking on all that haterade. I'm so sick of it, especially dude. Like, whatever. So Frida got a promotion, and shade to all the haters, and Issa gives her congrats and lets her know that she's proud and that she deserves this more than anybody, and then offers her a drink. But I was just like, Issa, we ain't got no money. Why you buying her drinks and stuff? But I mean, I guess they went out. I guess it was cool. Issa and the girls meet up at Issa's house to watch the slave show that everybody is just so into. They can't get enough of this. But they are having a conversation after the show is over about the fact that she has to move and how it's about to be a firm stretch. They're even considering that she gets a roommate, but Issa is convinced that she can do it on her own, even though, no, you can't, sis. So fast forward a little bit, she actually ends up having to move in with her brother, and she's selling a lot of her shit on the streets, including her Brock pot. And she's selling it to all the Bloods and the Creeps. because the creepy man smelling her blanket. I just want Issa to sit down and have a drink. She deserves. We get to the portion of the 30 days where Issa makes that call to Lawrence. Nobody knows why she called, but it turns out she was actually calling to be a big girl. She just wants to give him her stuff. She wants to give him his stuff. She done giving him her stuff. He don't want her stuff no more because she done given it to the whole block. I'm sorry. She fucked a lot this season. So she just wants him to have his things and also thinks that he deserves to have the couch that they bought together. So she's just calling to let him know that she's moving and here are the things. I'm going to be gone this day at this time and you don't even have to worry about running into me. Just come through and get your shit. Issa's brother is getting on my nerves. I don't know. I mean, I'm all for this back and forth sibling camaraderie and like just like bickering and whatever they do. But he is like rude and she's going through a lot. But anyway, he takes her back to the apartment. Obviously, past the time that she said that she was going to be back there, she just needs to drop off her keys and do her little walkthrough with her landlord and all of that stuff. And we all see this coming when she's walking through the gate. And I'm like, Lawrence is in this house and I know he is. It would have actually torn me apart a lot more if he wasn't. But whatever. We needed this. So she gets in the apartment and lo and behold, he's still there waiting. In the cut, by the way, which why don't you sit in the open? Don't do that. Because she could have maced your ass. That's scary. Lawrence and Issa have a conversation about just their stances and their perspectives of their relationship and who they were and who they weren't and who they were expecting to be. And it was really heartfelt and, you know, gripping in that moment. But it was good. It was just what we all felt like they needed. But it was also really, really sad because you can already see where this is going. This is like giving me this is the end. We're having this conversation and it's over with, but it kind of feels like a little hopeful, but it really isn't, even though Issa had to do this to us. Issa Rae, not Issa in the show. Issa Rae, the writer, had to take us there, didn't she? When he just falls to his knees and asks for her to marry him, and you get this whole glimpse into the future, and they're married, and they get a baby, and all of this stuff, and of course all of this is fake. And he gives her a solemn and true bye, Issa, and you feel it. This could really be it. We might not ever see them again together. It hurt. I cried. They cried. I cried. It was too much. You cried. We cried together. After all is said and done, Issa does what she always knows that she can do when things are not going right, and that's go and kick it with her best friend. Back earlier in the season, they were having a conversation about taking a trip to Morocco. But this is when Issa finally opened up about, bitch, I don't have money for that. And you can stay in the Hilton and I'm going to be in the Motel 6. But Molly treats Issa to a Moroccan night and they have a sleepover right at Molly's crib. And it's so cute. And it's just what Issa needed. She just needed to get her mind off all the fuck shit. And she seems genuinely happy in this moment. And it was really just so sweet to see. The next morning, Issa and Molly part ways, and Issa gets in a Lyft to go wherever she's going, and she gets a little ding on her phone, and it's a friend request from Lawrence, and she's actually pleased about it. She's feeling like, this is nice. We can just be cool. We can just be fun and friends now, or whatever. And I hope it be stressing me out, y'all. But I was glad to see that she was, you know, in a place of peace and it didn't irritate her or whatever. So she seemed to be like, this is nice. This is cool. Fine, fun. On the other hand, Molly is getting all dolled up, she got all her lingerie laid out, which I need a lawyer's salary because I've never had that many pieces of lingerie in my life. But she's getting all her stuff together, just trying to pick out her pieces. And I think that everybody had the same thought in this moment. And I said, this better fucking be Quentin. Quentin better fucking be at the door. But even earlier in the show, we see her in the bed and like giggling at somebody, but they don't ever show his face. And now we know she's still fucking with Dro, y'all. She can't get enough. She's a self-sabotager. Where's the therapist? She ain't tell her that part. She ain't say nothing to the therapist about fucking with somebody's husband, probably. She needs to tell on herself so she can get help. I'm sick of this. Dro's gonna break her heart, y'all. Anyway, so Issa also is in the Lyft, getting her shit together, you know. She's all feeling free and light and everything is cool. And then she goes and she knocks on the door and it's Daniels. Here are my things. I am just very uncomfortable with the fact that no one in this show knows how to be alone. I just wanted Issa to go to her brother's house, and I wanted her to, like, walk in and do their little sibling back and forth, and maybe she'll muff him and go into whatever quarters of the house that is hers now. And she just sits there and she pull out a notepad and she just start writing affirmations to her fucking self. But no. She goes to Daniel's and she says, I'm sleeping on the couch. And he says, I know, because that's how they play and that's how they talk to each other. And she probably is genuinely upset or trying to act mad, but you're over there and we know where this is going. This is probably about to be her man now, y'all. And she's not giving herself a break. And Lawrence never gave himself a break. And Molly won't give herself a break. I'm sick of these niggas. But I'm very happy and proud that we will be able to see them for season 3. And they will be able to stress us out furthermore. And I hope to see you guys right here next year.